liar lied about me and sent people to harass me.
Chunky!
She never sent people to harass you or even lie. Actually, you're the one who sent people to harass her, and you even released her phone number. Who does that?
She never doxed Slimmers. That wasn't even a real phone number.
I got this. It doesn't matter if it was fake. Ash believed it was real until she was told and did it with malicious intent. We have proof of that.
I can't show proof because everything I claim was in a call.
I've got this! If we have to believe you about the only evidence being in calls, then we need the beliefs that Slimmers gave her age to you in your first call with her, which looks bad for you because you sent her porn of a pedophile.
You shouldn't doubt me. I'm suing Onision.
Jar!
You specifically said to doubt you in your I confronted Onision video. And people will after you fundraised a lawsuit, and then said you were going homeless.
She never stated she was homeless. She said she was stranded, and she was for 2 days.
Chaos!
Stone already proved that Ash stated that she was going homeless, and she was stranded for at most 18 hours, not 2 days. She lied.
It doesn't matter what you say. You're not patrons, so you're not getting updates on the court case.
Figos!
Stone and I were both patrons. Stone at the time of you beginning to sue Onision, and me currently. And you have never responded to either of us.
At least she's still suing Onision. She's trying to do a good thing for small creators.
I'll handle this. She is not suing Onision. There is no record of it in the Washington State records. She lied. This is our answer.
Welcome back to the channel, children of darkness.
Do I really sound like a vampire that much?
Not really, but this was supposed to be a spooky month co-op, and I wanted to keep up the fun spirits.
Heh. Spirits. Welcome back to the darkness, everybody, to part 4 of this co-op cavalcade with myself and Ponder Sprocket, where we've been going over the whole situation with Madame and Slimmers,
Ash, now being called Princess Ash, just so you're not confused,
as well as the interview Ash had with Akumu in her apology, but not actually apology, it's about cancel culture video. Now, don't forget to watch the last 3 videos, links to all of which is in the description, because it is time for the finale.
Snuggle up with your tentacles, get your comfy scarves wrapped up tight, sit yourselves down with a bucket of popcorn and some delicious calming tea, and let's end this garbage fire.
No, it's delivery. Don't worry. I don't have slaves in my house making me dinner. What? Oh, sorry. Next?
Okay, so my next question would be along the lines of those people that are attacking you in the comment section and on Instagram. Are you going to do anything about that, or are you just going to wait till it tries to cool? Are you going to wait for it to cool down?
Wait for what? I mean, it's like, it's the internet. I really don't care. I don't. Like, honestly, if anything, it's a big sign of success for me. A lot of people don't understand, like, cancel culture and the internet as good as a YouTuber does. And all these comments and, like, even dislikes. Did you know that dislikes are pretty much equal to likes? You can have the most disliked video in the world.
Yeah,
and it's going to get
also
recommended.
What about losing subscribers? Does that also help?
Oh boy, not only have you lost those, you have lost your credibility.
But, I mean, no, like, the point I'm trying to make is with the comments, that's going to help me get in people's recommended. That's going to get me exposure. And even though it's based on a lie, which is completely shitty of someone to just make up a story like that and lie. But regardless, I'm still going to be in people's recommended. Every hate comment, every credit your artist. I mean, that's not a hate comment, but, you know, the actual hate comments where people are wishing death upon me and stuff. I don't care.
Look, I don't care unless they've murdered someone. It is a terrible idea to tell someone to kill themselves. Case and point. Even if it is Ash, that is not acceptable.
Funny that you state that someone saying credit the artist is not a hate comment, considering that is the only comment that anyone can find when all of this happened. And that's the comment that you freaked out about. We literally have a screenshot of it. Even Slimmers confirms in the comments on her Instagram story about this situation that there was only one comment by a friend of hers at the time, and we know which comment it was. It was the one by Nightfish. And that comment was left on a video that you still hadn't credited Slimmers on, so it was totally justified in asking you to give her credit.
So, by your own words, this comment isn't hate, but this is the comment that spurred you into disconnecting with Slimmers because she was sending people to hate on you. Does not compute. Does not compute.
And the supposed hate comments that Ash claimed happened before this point, no one else is aware of them and no record of them exists. How convenient.
And it also works for Instagram. That's gonna get me a people's recommended. There's like a little... I feel like not a lot of people know this about Instagram, but when you're on the search page, it's like recommended for you, and like I'll see people that like my friends follow or something, or like that's getting a lot of comments, someone that's popping lately. It's the same thing. I've been getting so many new followers, my AdSense tripled.
That's a flat out lie. If she's implying that this situation has garnered her new subs, you can literally see from the fact that she had a 50,000 subscriber special and now needs to get back to that milestone that she's lying.
And even if it's not the most reputable, your social blade is tanking! I have no idea where she got this claim from.
And just as an idea as to how long this has been going on for, this series was originally intended to be made in October. We're now in August of the next year. When I last wrote this script in June, she was down to 41,000. Now she's down to 40. The glass ceiling is real.
It's almost like credibility can be tarnished. How quaint.
I mean, it's not really a big deal. I almost like just want the comments to keep happening just because I really don't care. I know eventually it's gonna die down, and I mean the same thing happened for I'm Alex, James Charles, I'm pretty sure. All these people that were so-called canceled. Yeah, because cancel culture doesn't necessarily exist.
You know, despite me complaining about it for the better half of this whole video, saying that it's bad and that people shouldn't have this mentality that contributes to it.
The reasons for those two being the target of cancel culture are different, and have different reasons for happening. I'm Alex falsely accused his best friend of rape, whom you, Ash, called a rapist in your own deleted video, and James Charles proved the claims against him false with evidence and receipts. Ash can't seem to do that. Also, I have yet to see any strong evidence against Slimmers that accuse her of anything just as bad or worse than what Ash has done.
I mean, provided you ignore Akumu, since we all know how that went.
We also understand that Slimmers made a mistake, but that doesn't provoke the toxic response Ash gave.
Proving claims false? Perish the thought. Let me just lecture people for not believing me blindly when I've clearly indicated I'm not one to be trusted, and then talk about how I'm no longer going to provide updates on the one thing I publicly was asking for money for and people promoted me for.
The thing is, she keeps comparing herself to James Charles, but does nothing to absolve herself like he has. It's like she has the instructions to an IKEA shelf and she just makes a carrot. How do you do that?
These lazy millennials want to be the victim of cancel culture but don't want to put in the work to provide the receipts.
Making carrots out of shelves, well, back in my day.
It should exist for people like Austin Jones, but unfortunately how this whole thing works is you get the same amount of like hate and death threats that an actual child predator would, like Austin Jones. These people should be canceled, not because James Charles said something you didn't like.
Yeah.
What about this person stole from and then attempted to direct harassment towards a minor? Where does that one fall on the should or should not be canceled spectrum?
Apparently Repicide comments in the wrong place.
Don't you fucking start with me.
You know, or you heard a fabricated story from a fucking furry artist that literally lied, and all of a sudden, like, I deserve death threats.
Furry, furry, furry. All my problems seem to stem from furries. Pity me. What did I say about using it like some kind of slur?
It's
no
funny
different
too, because
than
when
fucking,
I show people
like I said,
the
Austin
evidence
Jones.
that I have, because they seem to think that it's okay to attack you based upon evidence against you, but when there's evidence against Slimmers, they kind of ignore it, push it off, and continue on with their day.
Completely.
So at this point, it's not about, you know, right and wrong or justice, it's just about attacking you just to attack you.
What evidence? All of it has pointed to you, Ash, not Slimmers. Show me that evidence, or your word is invalid. Should I spell it out for you? EVIDENCE. Evidence.
Akumu, everything that you have provided to imply that Slumers was in the wrong was either stuff that we had already seen, or it's stuff that you had the timeline wrong on, such as the post you claimed was Slumers sending people to harass Ash, thus resulting in Ash attempting to dox Slumers, when the post you cite as the reason wasn't even made until over 3 hours after the attempted dox even occurred. You also blatantly don't seem to understand that the nature of the crime and whether or not a person owns up to that mistake dictates whether people are still going to be mad about it, because you act like Slumers and Ash either committed the same offense, the same level of offense, or the same number of offenses, all of which is completely wrong. Slumers owned up to her meager mistakes early on. Ash, as we will see later on in this interview, believes she has done nothing wrong. You have never been one to talk about all of this evidence you have that everyone is ignoring.
Cancel culture is just like a hobby for some people, and I've had people make old accounts and actually send me not only gore, which like doesn't really bother me that much, but like illegal like child pornography. I had to sit, like, I really did not want to do this, but Instagram has this thing where like you kind of tap to and blur it a little bit. You can kind of see. Once I saw the first image, I did not even look at the others. I just started reporting all of them. Like, it's just like a game to people. It's like, oh, cool, now we have like a reason to like attack someone publicly. And yeah, it's pretty much just like a fucking internet game. It's really sad that I could get the same amount of hate that like a rapist or a pedophile on the internet would get.
If you actually think...
So a rapist or a pedophile. So what you called Slazo and then Austin Jones.
Boy, if you don't get...
Also, if you imply that you're getting as much hate as Slazo or Austin Jones, you really showcase your ability to exaggerate a situation.
Not to mention that you yourself have stated that someone asking you to credit the artist is not hate, and that's, what, half of what the comments on your videos are about? At the very least, it's what most people are still on your case for.
The rest are probably on your case about the lawsuit.
Well, that being said, in regards to the comments, I don't know. I know it's gonna die down eventually, and I really don't care, because, like I said, all these hate comments are based off of, like, fabrications. Like, I could literally care less. I'm living my life in Seattle, focusing on my lawsuit that people are trying to fucking say it's not happening.
Is there any news
and I
you
went
can
to, like,
provide on
one concert. Is there any what? Oh, are you there?
Yeah,
Did you cut out?
I asked about the lawsuit. Is there any news you could provide on it? Like anything that would at least give some credibility? I believe you on it. I don't have a reason to not believe you.
I mean, let's discount the fact that from what I've heard, he doesn't believe her on this anymore. This is aside from the fact that she hasn't provided any evidence, which was the reason you didn't believe Slumers. I mean, by that logic, why believe Ash over Slumers at all? What reason do you have to think that Slumers is lying over Ash? Because Ash said that she lied? Well, Slumers has also said that Ash has lied. So why believe Ash specifically?
Slimmers actually provided more proof than Ash tenfold. It would make more sense to believe Slimmers.
Is it because you like Ash more than Slumers and therein are willing to believe what she says without proof, which we've already seen because you demanded proof that Slumers was telling the truth about her assault because Ash claimed that she wasn't? Because that shows bias.
People, because of the whole cancel culture thing, once they don't like me, they can just start making assumptions and shit. Like, some people are saying I claim that I'm like poor. I've never said that. Trust me.
That is complete and utter bullshit, and I had to watch through your videos again to be sure of it, which was a painful experience. You state in your I paid for Onision's Patreon, which I have downloaded, you would have to fly from Florida to Washington to sue him. Even your Discord members know where you live. You can't lie to me, I have a +4 in insight.
So, I am suing him. The reason I need some funds is because it is a huge inconvenience for me to buy a plane ticket from Florida all the way to Washington and back.
So, as we were going back to fact check to get timestamps, it doesn't look like she deleted her own Onision videos. She put them up for members only. I'm not about to simp for Ash, nuh-uh. Already got them all downloaded. I love how I keep running into this bullshit.
Makes sense that only the people who are directly, continuously sending her money are the ones who get to see that content, because they're already the ones least likely to question her. Oh, I never said that. What was that thing Ash said about liars, that they're the worst and that she doesn't fuck with them? Yeah, seems about right.
Oh no, Scoob, how is she gonna fuck herself then?
As far as the lawsuit, I made a update video about it explaining why I'm not going to give any more public updates until I go to court. And when I go to court and shit, that's when I want to make like a really long video talking like 40 minutes long, explaining the importance of small creators having the ability to like sue in small claims, and I want to like provide evidence about the whole like Onision thing when I actually take him to court, and that's something that's really important to me. That's why I'm here in Washington. Like I'm taking my time with this, but also the evidence is in my last video because I explain not only what suing in small claims is, but why I will not be providing any more like public updates. It's because it's just like, if people are constantly asking me questions about it, like it's just, I can't keep making videos about it. I can't, like, let me continue with this process, and then I'm gonna give a huge update video about it when the time comes. And I think I made like a 30-minute or like maybe 20 minutes, I don't remember, video going in depth explaining why I think this is the best decision to not constantly give updates about it, because it's going to become old news. I just want to wait till I get to court, and that's when I'm going to like make it all public again.
I don't know, that seems a little counterintuitive to your initial claim about the lawsuit, where you stated, I see no issue explaining it to my subscribers because if I were vague, donating would feel like a scam, at least in my eyes. You deserve to know the details. So then, at a time when the details became kind of important because people were under the impression that it might be a scam, Ash chooses to go silent? Sure. She also states that future updates will go out to her patrons, but guess who hadn't been updating her patrons?
And she chose to remove her Onision videos, or now put them behind a paywall. You know, those videos that publicly cataloged the claim that she was going to sue Onision, now they're only available to channel members, the people who keep feeding her money.
It's almost like Ash is trying to hide public acknowledgement of the event.
I also have them all downloaded, the night before they got removed. A good call on my part. You can't hide from me, because I'm the one who hides in the darkness.
And how do we know that she hadn't been updating her patrons? Because guess who paid a friend to become one of Ash's patrons so he could hear about updates on the lawsuit?
Oh, I'm a ghost.
Guess who hasn't heard anything about updates despite asking for them and despite being a patron of the highest tier?
Spooky ghost, spooky. Here I go, floating in the background.
And you know earlier when I said I emailed her to get an update because I paid and gave her proof of my payment? I still never received any email back from Ash, and it's been way over 2 weeks.
Now, one could argue that she doesn't have anything to update people on. However, for a patron specifically asking for updates, you would think a little message saying, I haven't gotten any updates yet, sorry, would be maybe a tad warranted, especially considering Ash did indicate that patrons were entitled to updates if they asked.
Also, from what we found out in terms of how long it would take her to get a court date, which would have been potentially at most 45 days, from the date of filing the paperwork, she should at least have a court date, and that would be an update.
So even if you become a patron exclusively to hear about these updates on the lawsuit, even if you message her about it directly, she straight up will not message you back. We'll go over this again more towards the end. Needless to say, what Ash is claiming here completely goes against her actions behind the scenes, as well as what other people can find in public court records.
Ghost!
And, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Repsion wants to meet up with me, and, I don't know if he's even still likes me. I haven't been in contact with him for a while. Hopefully he didn't, like, fall for any fabrication. Maybe he hasn't heard it, I don't know.
Wow, you fucked up that relationship real hard. So hard it can't feel its legs.
Sounds like my typical Tuesday.
Funny how all of them end because of Ash's unprofessionalism.
But that would be cool.
Considering you both share a common
going
enemy,
to
I
vlog
don't think you would honestly care about that because
Yeah,
right
so
now there's
like him
almost
coming would also.
Oh my god! Stop talking over each other, jeez! Also, lel, I don't think Repsion would care about that because you have a common enemy.
Yeah, how did that work out for you?
He's not really gonna care that you have a habit of screwing over people who work for you, because both of you hate this raw side of an ogre's ass on the internet. I don't know, man, I don't like getting my stuff stolen any more than Chad down the street wearing the stupid KKK hood, but I'm still not inviting him to my barbecue this weekend.
Be more evidence. He could maybe like provide like an update on social media that he's like in court, because he wants to sit in with me. So like I said, like people that hate me, just because you don't like me or my content or stuff that's been fabricated about me, that doesn't give you the right to invalidate me.
Not a problem. You invalidate yourself good enough already. You don't need any help.
I've been caught in multiple lies, but that doesn't mean you guys can just invalidate me and not believe what I'm saying.
Also, if you're taking a shot every time she says fabrication or fabricated, go to the hospital, because I think your liver is dying and you're hallucinating the rest of this video.
Their current most recent attack is basically the fact that you have Leafy as your banner.
I think it's humorous.
I mean, multiple people do.
It's humorous. I like it. It kind of looks nice on my channel. It's very neon, and I like it a lot.
I mean, that's fair. You're basically, I mean, I'm pretry sure you embrace
my
the
big
fact that
inspiration. Yeah, I really like him. If you couldn't tell. No, when I started YouTube, I used to not like it.
This situation to Leafy and his situation.
Love Leafy. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know about the Leafy drama. Surprisingly, I didn't really keep up with it. I just liked his reaction commentaries. Like, whenever he made, like, an apology video, I never really cared to watch. I mean, I would, like, sit through a minute of it.
Am I the only one recognizing some sort of beautiful cosmic harmony in her stating that, but then also uploading a 2-hour-long video that she titled as an apology wasn't actually an apology, where she did an interview explaining this and where she littered it with, like, 13 ads?
Oh, I do have something coming up soon. I've always wanted to talk about, like, cancel culture. I remember, like, to give some context, which I'm going to say in my video, I guess you can release this early. I suspect not a lot of people watch this interview, but maybe. I mean, maybe I could link it when that upload happens. But basically where I'm going with this is I always have ideas that, like, are really good.
Oh, so humble.
Like, my most popular videos and even videos in general, I would have the idea for 4 months or maybe 5 months until I finally upload it. Like, that's just how fucking slow I am.
So you acknowledge that you're slow as fuck, just like we were in getting out this commentary, but still rushed slimmers to get the stills done? And for a video that hadn't even been released at the time of this drama, nay, at the time of originally scripting this, nay, ended up never even being released because J-Station's a creepy fucker.
Ponder's videos may take forever, but at least their quality. You have no excuse.
Watch it, Buster.
What? It was a compliment.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you to watch it, because flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh.
Like my first ever Onision video where it's like he thinks he's in 2010 or something. I had that idea for literally 4 months. And I had this cancel culture like idea, like topic for like a solid 6 months now. And I asked like Calvin Guerra to do like a segment for me, and in the DMs, like this was like early summer or something, maybe like June. And he was like, yeah, sure. And then it just like never happened. I'm just really slow. And so I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to actually talk about it, which I feel like a lot of people are going to make assumptions and be like, you're doing this because you got attacked, haha. It's like, no, I've always wanted to talk about this, and this is like a great opportunity to kind of go over like James Charles and talk about all these people and then talk about mine situation. And yeah, and what's funny about it is Leafy's apology was on October 9th, so that's when I'm gonna upload mine to be cheeky, because I like being like a Leafy clone. I like it a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just super convenient that I can bring this up now and use reverse psychology to try and play the narrative to my benefit.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about this part, but the entire first half of Ash's non-apology video is her attempting to use reverse psychology, whether purposefully or just as a result of manipulative tactics in general, to effectively get people to get off her case. For one thing, I'm sure it would come as no shock that she can't keep track of the narrative she's trying to push.
1 minute cancel culture doesn't exist. The next minute, it just serves to help people that it attempts to cancel.
She also effectively tries to claim that cancel culture doesn't work and it just serves to make people more popular, which, in her situation, would indicate to people that them remaining upset regarding her actions means that it's just making her more popular.
Effectively, she's trying to say, if you try to cancel me, you're just making me stronger, which would normally be something like a deterrent for anyone who doesn't want her channel to grow.
So despite her claiming that she doesn't care about the comments or the attention, or that she's specifically relishing in it,
which is already difficult to believe given that Ash seems to be fine with non-direct toxic comments. But the minute a comment actually points out something that she actively did, she gets angry, which we could see in her reaction to the comment left by Slimmers' friend, Nightfish.
She's effectively trying to entice people to stop paying attention to her and forget about the whole issue because they're just making her stronger. If this was actually something Ash was intimately aware of, why would she point this out? Why would she not just let the comments and fame supposedly roll in without her having to put in a modicum of effort?
By using reverse psychology to try to stop the comments from coming in and from the people paying attention to what she does, she would be going against her own claims here. She's claiming that she knows how cancel culture works and exactly how she could use it to her advantage, but she's directly going against that to stop the influx of comments that she claims she doesn't have a problem with to begin with. So why point out that it's only going to benefit her in an effort to get it to stop?
Similar to her conspiratorial claims about Slimmers wanting to cancel her in her 3000 IQ artist video, what Ash is putting forth here basically relies on her being a complete idiot. What she's claiming here effectively means that Ash is directly impeding her own growth. If cancel culture only serves to make people more popular, why is she pointing this out and stopping it from working on her?
She's trying to weave everything into a web and getting herself stuck. At least that would explain how she's now stuck at 41k.
It's almost like the comments potentially do bother her, and this was a very weak attempt to get them to stop whilst maintaining the facade that they're ineffectual. Except this kind of just hints that, yeah, that's probably not the case.
We can see what you're doing, Ash. It's not that hard.
And you're bad at it. God, I'll be real with you. The minute I saw that, I wanted to point out how it made no sense. I don't know how a person can so vehemently claim that they are working so tactfully in their own favor whilst going in the complete opposite direction based on the false narrative they are presenting.
Glad you got it out of your system.
Yeah.
No, I
hope I didn't cut out. Sorry. Isn't that kind of clever? Isn't it kind of cheeky?
On October 9th.
Probably not, based on what was actually in the video.
I'm not apologize. I'm not bothered by the comments, but also you guys should stop.
On October 9th,
yeah,
that was
like an Easter egg gold beefy
That's his apology upload. Yeah. I'm gonna like compare it in the video. I'm gonna be like, I don't know, like what I'm gonna do. I don't have a script, but like, I'm gonna like just put up a screenshot.
Story time video. It didn't help in your favor, but it didn't really do much.
Just a story time.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god, Akumu actually made a good point for once. I'm honestly amazed. Am I having a stroke?
No, I actually disagree.
Of course she does. It's a point with logic involved.
And it would directly benefit her, which is clearly something she rejects, like a toddler rejecting her broccoli.
I know it'll benefit me to stay home and be safe from COVID, but I'm gonna lick the snot off a person with SARS-CoV-2 instead to keep me healthy.
It was just a story time. It was not me trying to provide like a very like serious video with like hard evidence. Here's the screenshots, guys. Like I maybe showed like 2 because you know it was like I would agree with you had this video been a very serious topic, but the way
Ash suffers from clinical nescience.
That means you are a daft motherfucker.
Well, because it was a story time. Like I was even saying stuff like dun 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 to like be entertaining. It was a story time. Yes, the story was serious, but it wasn't one of those videos where it's like, all right, here's my stills. He's crossing his arms right now. Okay, here's some evidence. Pop that up on the screen right now. Like it wasn't really like that. It was just
1 minute, oh, it's not serious. Next minute, I mean, yeah, it was serious, but
can you make up your mind already? I swear, you're just like a jigsaw puzzle with too many missing pieces.
And half of the pieces aren't even from the puzzle at all. They're from a really bad drawing of the puzzle, accusing it of being a fabrication.
I like making story times. You can believe me or you don't have to, but like, my story was 100% truthful.
Oh look, I'm just the most honest YouTuber. I'm just like my idol Onision, except I don't groom, I extort and shame underage people.
Fun fact, guys, it's actually very common that when someone is lying, they will put an overemphasis on exactly how truthful something is, because they are already expecting the lie to be challenged. A person who's telling the truth has a general default expectancy that they will be believed, and usually have no need to do this. I'm sure you can imagine all of the red flags popping up in my brain with that little nugget of information on hand.
Completely. Like I don't like to be biased either. Like I try to empathize. It's really hard to do that with a liar.
I don't know. I didn't have any issue empathizing with your claims that you were having anxiety when you were stuck in another city. I recognize how bad that can be. It's just that your claims regarding the actions you could or could not have taken at that time didn't end up making any sense. Again, also something that can be excused because of the anxiety of the situation. But at least with hindsight, it should be pretty apparent that other options existed.
We also had no problem giving you the benefit of the doubt on your claims that you were suing Onision. But just like what we did with the Slimmers claims, we checked to see if yours held any weight, and from what we found, they didn't.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. B was smoking and I was getting a contact high at this point.
Sorry, not sorry.
So I was just getting stuck in this cycle of, well, she has BPD, so that means a lack of cognitive empathy, which means a lack of ability to empathize with the emotions of another, even if the person is a liar, which she is, but even if she's projecting her own lies onto slumers, which would actually mean that the liar in question she's failing to empathize with is herself, and she should be able to empathize with her own emotions as the liar, and...
B, will you please stop smoking in here? You're breaking Ponder!
But, like, I tried to tell the story from kind of, like, a middle ground. Maybe that didn't come off that way? I don't know. Do you think it did? Because I feel like, mine wasn't really biased.
I would say
well,
that
that's just me.
People consider it biased and entirely biased towards slumers because you didn't make anything else addressing it, and it's like your only thing out there that's addressing it.
That is not why people thought it was biased against slumers. Maybe it has something to do with her, I don't know, attempting to dox a minor, or publicly claiming that said minor had lied about an assault, or even making that information which the minor had shared to her in confidence public.
I mean, your wording in this video shows how angry she was towards Slimmers for very inconspicuous reasons. Plus, she's throwing all the pity insults during that video.
So I think that's why people would consider it to be
I don't take the
entirely
internet
biased.
very seriously. I don't really feel the need to make a really big video addressing why a furry artist decided to fabricate an entire story about me. I literally don't care. I just thought it would be like a funny story time. I don't know, like I feel like people that use the internet a lot probably take it more seriously, or like
Yeah, there's a lot of people taking it seriously.
I
got into an
didn't
argument
do
with this
anything
one
wrong at
guy.
all. I gave someone
and-
credit and they lied about it, so I removed it because I don't like to work with liars.
No wonder you have so many problems. You don't like to work with yourself. I've cracked the code!
Plus, you still didn't credit Slimmers for the artwork in the thumbnail of your 50,000 subscriber special, which is the video Nightfish's comment asking you to give credit was on. There's no lie there.
It's like, it's literally that simple. I'm not gonna respect someone that doesn't respect me, like, period. But yeah, sorry if this has been long. Hopefully it's good content for you.
I mean, it's fine either way. It helps, and it might be able to address some things, which is good on one end, because honestly, I don't entirely care what either of you did, but at the same time, like, they're attacking you specifically when both of you did something wrong. And so if they're going to attack you, they should also do the same to her, but they're not, so that's my issue. It's either end it both ways, because, like, what gives them the right to attack you? Evidence? Well, there's also evidence on Slimmers, so why aren't they doing it?
Because the offenses are different, Akumu. I really have trouble believing that you have yet to be able to understand that concept. And yes, I am saying this from a place of being a year later, because yes, he is still struggling with that concept.
I don't care about what either of you two did. Yet you harassed Slimmers on Twitter and did nothing to Ash. What is your logic? He shouldn't want both of them to be punished equally. They should be punished by the magnitude of their crimes. It's like saying someone who stole a can of SpaghettiOs should face the same sentence as a serial murderer.
We can see that you don't care what the offenses were because you are blatantly ignoring the differences between the two, or even the offender's reactions to them. Like how Slimmers has apologized for what she's done wrong, but Ash, well...
I personally don't think I did anything wrong.
Yeah, that.
I think I was very proper in how I approached it and gave her credit. However, I will say you can definitely criticize me for maybe being immature or quote unquote not being the bigger person, because I personally believe in the fair is fair motto. Like, if she's gonna send people to attack me, but God forbid I do it back, like, you can criticize me for that and the way my mentality about that. But I personally think I didn't really do anything wrong. I gave her credit. I was really nice about it. And I say that because I can't exaggerate enough that I had to find out through her not coming to me. Like, I had to find out in different ways. It was really weird and confusing. She just constantly wanted attention, public attention, instead of just coming to my DMs. It was really weird.
Constantly wanting public attention. Up until this point, the only attention she'd garnered publicly was the comment on your video asking for credit, and then telling people what you did to her so others wouldn't be scammed.
One of the other things you claimed that she wanted attention for her assault, but you are the one who made that public, not Slimmers. You're the one who did it without a permission, and you're the one who did it without evidence.
So I had to find that out and then do the right thing.
Followers on both Twitter and Instagram.
She was also obsessed with cancel culture and told me and my friend in a voice chat, isn't it cool you can ruin someone's reputation with words?
Yeah, remember when I talked about how one of the signs of a liar is them repeating things word for word, almost indicating rehearsal, and that other thing about specifically repeating how truthful something is because of the expectation it will be questioned? Yeah.
It's like, I'm not surprised. And it really doesn't bother me at all. Like, cool, you lied about someone and gained publicity from it. Like, good for you. Like, you really hated that Shay girl, Shy, whatever. She always talked about how much she fucking hated her for lying about Slazo. She's like no different than Shay.
What? That makes no sense based on your earlier claim.
Also, don't you dare call Slimmers the same as Shay. Shay lied about sexual assault and tried to play the victim, even though her claims got called out as fake. Some cropped screenshots made it look like Slazo was a dangerous partner. Slimmers didn't do anything close to that. Hell, we even have a recording of you and Slimmers' chat, and she did nothing close. I also think Ash might be the one who was obsessed with cancel culture because of how much she talks about it and blames her problems on it. If anyone is acting like Shay, it's you, Ash.
This whole time, and within your 3000 IQ artist video, you made the claim that Slimmers was obsessed with the Slazo situation because she herself was obsessed with cancel culture, and this was the onus for her wanting to try and cancel you. But here you are indicating that the perpetrator of that false allegation is the one that Slimmers didn't like. Haven't you just indicated to us here that if Slimmers was interested in cancel culture, it was an interest that centered around being mad at the person who lied? So why would she then go on to commit the same offense if this was specifically the center of her disgust of the situation? That's like me saying, boy howdy, I sure love comic books, time to destroy Marvel.
I am iron!
That's like, okay, cool, good for you. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, I know I'm not a bad person. I didn't lie about anything. I was really professional with her, and for her not ever coming to my DMs, I did everything I could to make things right, like, immediately, which I could provide evidence for if you want.
Oof. We have already called Ash out online multiple times by this point. Is she playing the most honest YouTuber card? Like plaintiff, like defendant? Or like Ash, like Onision, now that we know that there is no court case?
You got caught in a lie that you never claimed you lived in Florida, for Pete's sake. Sit down, Ash.
What I do
gave
have
her
is
credit.
2 screenshots from your video.
I have
and then
more.
I have her screenshots of showing when she messages you about the credit. So if you
I
want,
feel
we
like
can
she
compare
might have.
those. Yeah,
Sure.
Photoshop.
You
We can
think so?
compare 'em. That's okay.
Maybe. I hope she didn't delete any messages. That would be really shady.
From what I've seen so far, I don't know. I can't say for
No, either.
definite. You would
'Cause
be able
I've
to
never
if you-
checked her page. Would you just like a? I guess I'll just provide screenshots. I'm too lazy to screen record. Okay, so. What am I looking for again in the screenshot? I'm kind of hungover.
Akumu, you are immediately claiming Photoshop! Nice detective work. Ultimate detective right here. I was given the entire screen recording of the conversation, and I'm gonna guess a few reasons that start with P is the reason why Ash doesn't want to show it to the public.
The fact that Ash is now invested enough to half-heartedly go over the conversation in an effort to provide screenshots to clear her name, but apparently isn't invested enough to just look at the screenshot Slimmers is presenting is just baffling.
I'm getting hypnotized girl was unable to bite into the apple vibes.
I just imagine Ash looking over the screenshots, and every time it shows something she did wrong, her eyes just shoot away from it and she physically can't see it.
Just about when you when she commented on your YouTube video, the comment section.
Yeah, sorry.
After
It's just
that,
I've been
what's your
partying and
reaction?
having a good time in Washington before. I don't know, as I've been really stressed out, like I'm at this girl's house and the landlord was like, oh, like what's wrong? He seems so stressed, and like I have to like deal with a lot. My sleep schedule's fucked, I'm jet lagged, I have like a lawsuit to deal with, and they're like, oh, our fucking weed will help you with that. And I've just been so fucked up ever since drinking, and I just need to chill. So I've been really out of it. Sorry about that. I'm trying my best to sound sober.
It's alright.
Okay. Here we go. Screenshots. So I guess you could put the screenshots over this interview. This is the first one that I will send you. And as you can see, this was a part of my story time. I sent her the... I don't know why I thought... I'm so sorry. I really don't want to apologize for this, but... Oh my god, it looks so perfect. I thought she said adorable. Like, I guess I got a word mixed up. Sorry about that. But, you know, same thing.
Yeah, they get the
or maybe she
across.
said adorable in a call. I don't remember.
Oh, but you can remember everything else that she said in a call, even to the point where we should believe you because you remember it, despite you not having evidence. Oh, except for that note about how your memory is actually garbage.
Another lie on your end, Ash. You guys did not have a call between when the thumbnail was shown and the confrontation for credit.
Oh shit, that's right. We have the whole Discord conversation. Whoops.
It says so in the chat recording and log we have. You hadn't been in a call with Slimmers on Discord for at least 2 days by the time the stills were even sent to you, so you can't claim that it was an overnight call. She couldn't have said it was adorable in a call, let alone the last call you had a conversation about a damn pedophile. You should really script things.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, I noticed that and I was like, wait a minute, I don't see the word adorable.
That's pretty telling that Ash can't keep track of what was said to her with someone's actual voice and what she read via text. And we're still supposed to believe her word, despite her clearly indicating here that she can't even keep track of the interactions the two of them had.
But yeah, I'm glad I sent her a thumbnail before I even, like, uploaded the video. Ha ha ha, I made a thumbnail with it, so cute, oh my god, blah blah. And then all of a sudden the next day, September 11th. Okay, firstly, you should have DM'd me because by the off chance I stopped reading YouTube comments and I wouldn't have seen. I'm just gonna give you credit instead of a verbal shout out, which you prefer is fine by me. Also, it's strange as you respond to the thumbnail here, but then just now ask me to do this. But okay, take your credit, fuck the shout out then, lol, I just wanted to pay you anyway, shout out / credit. Was because you didn't have PayPal, no one credits their commission unless it's free / complimentary by the artist, and then of course credit, which was the plan, but okay, I got you.
Why did you trail off reading that section of the conversation, Ash? Is it because one of the art pieces you used was complimentary because it was fan art, and therein you should have credited it based on your own logic here? This fucking girl, I swear, let her talk long enough and she'll shoot herself in the foot.
Come on, Ash, TP needs a buddy.
And also to give more context, prior to this, even though I said the shout out credit was because you didn't have a PayPal, we still did discuss her getting money from Fanfiber and working with me that way, and that was, you know, also about the stills. So
Ponder said this in her first video way back, but I will repeat it here. How was someone supposed to know you were not going to credit her? Do you not understand how timelines work? Algorithms. Math! Or did you forget about that too? There was no way she could have known that you weren't going to credit her, so that she could bring it up to you when you showed her the thumbnail.
You know, my artist got high once and started getting paranoid about other people being able to read their mind and just not telling them about it. Maybe Ash has paranoia about everyone being psychic except for her.
But so she was technically... I think I could maybe find like a message in our DMs about that.
I'll save you the time. It's not in there.
But I'm gonna continue to screenshot this before I forget, and then could you remind me to search for the Fanfiber stuff, and then
Sure
I could like search it in the thing and see if we talked about it.
To see if you talked about it? You said not 20 seconds ago that you did talk about it.
Alright.
I meant in the description of your videos. Like, and to give context again, I messaged her first because she just started sending people after me, and I was
that's
like,
when she vented about it on Instagram. She said that she was happy to work with you, but she was upset about no credit.
No, it wasn't even that. Like, she makes it seem like it was that Instagram story. She told me she went to her friends, like personally, like I guess through calls or through text, and was venting to them, but I suspect she sent them after me because of how hostile they were. And she...
Where? I mean, where? You should have no proof of this, and you have nothing backing up this claim. She didn't tell you that she went to her friend. She did go to one of her friends and tell him to delete the comments, but that doesn't fit the narrative, does it?
Oh my god. Okay, for anyone who isn't aware of this, one of Akumu's main driving points against Slimmers was the claim that Slimmers' original vent story on Instagram, where she indicated that she was happy to be working for Ash, but had yet to receive credit, is when Slimmers started sending people out to attack Ash. Ash, in one fell swoop, has just destroyed one of Akumu's structural arguments, and, in the same breath, has provided a brand new condition under which Slimmers directed harassment towards her, but has provided absolutely no evidence to substantiate this new claim. Oh no, it wasn't that post that you've built most of your arguments on. It was Slimmers doing it personally. I can't. Holy fuck, I can't even breathe. Oh god, and Akumu, poor boy, sounds like his brain damn near fucking broke.
Even though apparently those comments were deleted, do you have anything on them, maybe a notification that would contain them?
I have so many YouTube comments I wouldn't be able to find it. I do know it's...
That is yet another lie. You get emails from YouTube whenever someone comments on your videos. If you know what the comment said, or just the day it was posted, you can find it by searching through your emails. It's not that hard. Well, maybe now, because of all the backlash, but you can go through the oldest ones.
Calling them the oldest ones imply they exist.
I do know it's in my, I think my Q&A? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways. I hope this was clear enough.
Wow, anyone else enjoy that sudden shift in topic? Akumu asks if she can find the deleted comments that no one else has apparently seen except for Ash.
Oh, I think, maybe. Oh, anyway, here's a different thing.
Classic.
Reminds me of when Ash claimed that Slimmers changed the topic after she asked about the phone number. Ignoring that it was late at night, Slimmers had probably gone to bed by that point, and Ash started a fresh conversation the next day.
Here's another screenshot. Okay. Sorry if I'm like randomly giggling. I'm like so fucked up right now. Am I doing okay? Do I seem sober to you?
Professional. Whee!
Yeah, so far you do. I mean, you're doing pretty well for it. You're not doing anything that you shouldn't be doing, or, I mean, you're not like laughing the entire time, so it's fine. And some things are funny about the situation, so it's whatever.
Also, I realized I did not provide evidence of, like, I just thought that was, like, I don't know, I, like, screenshotted it quickly, but she definitely was in the description of that video, trust me. I immediately made
she provided the screenshots of that. Finally in Nani's video. The thing is that she first, technically she didn't lie, but at the same time she did, because she didn't tell people that you first fixed the credit, and then she didn't tell people that you...
Actually, she did. Want to know how I know? Because Slimmers cataloged her original Instagram story calling out Ash. And not only within the description of the post did she specify that Ash had fixed the problem with regards to the credit originally not being given, within the comments on that post she also specifically told people that Ash did credit her in the bio, even indicating that she'd only been credited for one of the thumbnails, not both of them, and therein not the one the Nightfish commented on asking for said credit.
That was also before the attempted dox, which we can tell because of Champion Mahina's comments documenting what Ash was saying about Slimmers at the time.
Did she not tell people she didn't even come to me anyways? I had to find out through comments to fix it.
Comment. Singular.
And a comment from her. I mean, even if it wasn't a direct means of contacting you, which I won't deny, it's not the best way to get the credit issue sorted quickly. It is her coming to you, just not directly.
This is something Slimmers had acknowledged was a mistake on her part, yet you continue to hold it against her. Even then, you yourself said that you weren't exactly quick to respond to DMs, so why are you claiming that she could have contacted you through DMs?
The first few hours of a video being up are the most crucial times for advertising, and it's when the video reaches the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time, meaning that time frame could have been crucial for Slimmers' exposure, which was supposed to be the deal for the commissioned stills. Actually, if you had just released the video and were still checking comments and had already indicated to Slimmers that you don't respond quickly to private messages, wouldn't a comment have been the most effective way of contacting you? I mean, you said it yourself, you stop reading comments after 48 hours, and this video, by the time you apparently fixed the issue, had been up for less than 10. If you don't respond quickly to DMs, but you just released a video, wouldn't logic dictate that your eyes and attention would be on that video, thus making a comment the fastest means of getting your attention?
Sure, that'd be different if you asked Slimmers to call you, but you didn't. You specifically kept saying that she should have contacted you in DMs.
Like, she could have just DM'd me, and I would have been like, oh shit, my bad. And, that would have been it. I mean, it's not like I used the stills in a video. Like, if I planned on using it for a J-Station video, and I was 100% like planning on giving her like a whole segment on top of that credit in the description every time I use the stills, but I didn't realize that about the thumbnail. And had she just DM'd me real quick, like, yo, you didn't credit me for the thumbnail, I would have been like, my bad, duh, common sense. I don't know what I was thinking, sorry. And that could have been it, but I had to find out the hard way.
You just said that anytime you use the stills, you'd give credit. Isn't a thumbnail still using the stills? You contradicted yourself within the same damn sentence. You're still using the stills when you use it for something on your channel. It's not that hard to comprehend.
In a complicated way, because she likes attention, and I had to immediately make it right through that complicated way and immediately give her credit.
Comments are complicated.
And I was like, don't worry about future uploads here in the screenshot. I don't think I'll forget to add you again. If I use the art for thumbnails, I'll be mindful, which I state. She starts saying sorry, whatever.
Let me just acknowledge that she apologized to me, but gloss over it because it disrupts my narrative of her never being respectful.
I'm like, well, I think you're reading my messages wrong, because I'm not trying to argue at all or anything. I said you got the credit, blah, blah, blah. It's just like mind-blowing. And then I can provide you screenshots when she was still sending people after me after the fact that she got credit.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Like I said, my story was a story time. It was a Leafy styled story time. Obviously, it wasn't that deep to me enough to provide. It's just not that deep. I was just like, that's kind of funny. If furry had a fucking 3000 IQ, this could have been like a fucking, I don't know, like a whole plan or something, which I feel like that could have been true, but also maybe not. Like, I don't know. I just think it was kind of funny though.
I mean,
that was the purpose of the
I wouldn't say that she planned it, but I can say that she's the whole thing is very skeptical with her. I mean, why would you tell someone that you've been sexually assaulted, but you can't tell them your age and you've only known them you guys were talking for about 2 weeks?
Under 5 minutes. Like, the very first phone call, we were greeting each other. Like, she went on about how she likes my YouTube channel, and all of a sudden she's like, so I got raped. It was literally so, like,
She's telling
no
people
rape
that
victim does that.
that you first brought up your sexual assault.
What? Okay, my sexual assault was like getting groped or something. Why would I bring that up?
Right now is that you first brought yours up, so she brought hers up to alleviate some kind of pain and sympathize.
No. Oh, okay. What happened was she gets in a call with me. She fangirled a little. You're my favorite YouTuber, whatever. I really like your channel, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden she says I'm raped. I would never say, hey, I got groped once. I don't know, something under the lines of that, like, I really like your channel, blah blah blah. But like, when I refer to like me being sexually assaulted, not necessarily like a rape. Mine was like getting groped by creepy men when I'm underage, stuff like that. So why would I randomly be like, oh my god, it's so nice to meet you, by the way, creepy men groped me? That's what I'm referring to as assault. Why that makes no sense. I don't know why she's claiming that. I think she's just, like I said, a liar, because she lies about everything.
Funny thing about that, if we're supposed to believe everything that Ash says happens in calls, then we need to believe Slimmers when she says the first thing she did in a call with Ash was tell her age. You don't just get to pick and choose who you believe when you say something happened in a call. If there is no evidence, then both scenarios are just as equally possible.
At that point, it falls to the recollection of both parties and whether the stories stand up to scrutiny and investigation. We actually asked Slimmers about this allegation about the call, and according to Slimmers, while the two of them were talking, Slimmers brought up Ash's hospital video and how she felt for what she was having to go through. Ash then mentioned, I'm surprised I didn't get raped at the hospital, considering there was other people who got raped. Thank God I didn't though, since I've been sexually assaulted before in my life. According to Slimmers, that's when her sexual assault experience was brought up. So again, if we're supposed to be listening to Ash's story about what happened in call, we also have to listen to what Slimmers claimed happened, since there is no evidence for either claim. And even then, it doesn't fucking matter!
Akumu said that there was evidence that court documents existed to showcase there was a case for Slimmers' claim. Ash is the one who made Slimmers' private claim public. At this point, we have confirmation that Slimmers was not inherently lying about the claim. So why does it matter exactly how it was brought up to Ash? Either way, it shouldn't have been brought into the public without the victim's permission, which is exactly what Ash did.
Ash claiming that Slimmers talking about how her experience was just her attention seeking is effectively just a means of discrediting Slimmers as a person, distracting from the fact that Ash publicly claimed that someone lied about their assault. At this point, we know that Ash was wrong to have claimed that, and Akumu, knowing that the court documents exist, should also know that Ash was in the wrong to claim that it entirely did not happen, not only because she had nothing to substantiate this claim, but also because she made this claim publicly and against the wishes of of the victim.
This all just fucking frustrates me, and you know why? Ash never knew it was fake to begin with. She was only told it happened. So she just called it a lie for no other reason but to make Slimmers look bad. It's fucking disgusting beyond compare. Oh hey, you told me something really personal, so let me tell everyone you lied about it to make you look like a jerk.
And now let me claim that you revealing it was just you attention seeking to diminish the impact of what I did.
It's childish and completely out of turn. You treated someone's assault as a weapon to make them look like the bad guy. You say that's not how people who have been through assaults act, but how the fuck do you know? I can easily claim yours is false because you provide no evidence, but I won't because that's a terrible thing to do to someone. You basically make them feel invalid for no other reason besides they made you mad. Do you have any idea how that can affect people? Okay, I'm done. Sorry for going off like that, Ponder. Lost my composure for a minute.
You don't need to apologize.
I would never, when I talk to a fan, just be like suddenly, just so you know, I was groped once. Like, that never happened. She was the one that just decided to randomly say she got raped. And in that phone call, I never once told her I was also like a victim of like creepy men. I never said that. So the fact that she's claiming now that I brought up the topic is completely untrue. I've never, like, that's something I don't talk about at all. Like, you could tell me a million times, or like even our first like phone call, hey, I've been raped, and I'm not gonna be like, you know what, I sympathize with you, I got groped once. Like, no, I'm immediately just gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear. Like, that's just kind of how
I'll sympathize with you in the moment, but also publicly reveal your private experience that you told me in confidence and use it as a means of claiming you're a liar.
Real nice.
I am. I don't talk about my experiences with a stranger so quickly like she does.
Yeah, just talk about it publicly in a video you put on your channel. Totally not revealing things to strangers.
So, I'm appalled to hear this. I didn't know she lied that much about me. I knew she lied about me, but jeez, that's insane to me. I know for a fact I did not tell her I was assaulted. Like, I remember it coming out about that in my story time. That was like the first for me to even say that.
It there.
I never mentioned Nicole. She was the one that was like, hi, nice to meet you. By the way, I got raped. That's literally it.
And she
so.
also states that you mentioned your story first after your video came out. So I
What?
guess that's when the lie formed.
I never got raped or anything. I've only been groped.
No. I'm saying that after your storytime video came out, that is when she decided to respond to her story, saying that you first told your story before she told hers.
Oh,
so she didn't
never
mention
happened.
that before, but she's mentioning it afterwards. So I can
I
definitely see how that's a
Okay, but
big
the thing is,
possible lie.
How could she mention beforehand if she didn't know that the Ash drama was gonna happen? She would have no reason to tell the story if Ash didn't go all small brain mode.
Again, Slimmers herself didn't want this to be made public. Ash was the one who first brought the experience up in her video where she claimed that Slimmers had been lying about it. At that point, Slimmers would have been forced to defend herself, so of course she's going to bring it up after the fact. It wasn't even an issue until Ash made it public.
is that I never said I was like raped or I literally just like, oh, I've been groped before, but like I never told her that ever. That was never, I never even like mentioned that I was also a victim of like being assaulted or touched. Never. She was the one that was just like, by the way, I got raped, and just went on about it, and I just sat there awkwardly, and I had empathy, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear. Oh, like, did you report it to the police? Like, I had questions and stuff.
Yeah, press the person who just claimed they were assaulted. That makes sense. That shows empathy.
Even if we assume it wasn't directly brought up in call, Stimmers would have already been aware of your assault since she watches your videos, and you yourself state that you have revealed it in one of your videos. So she would have already had a reason to bring it up at the point of sympathy, knowing you've already experienced something like that.
And that's literally what it was. I never told my story of, the time I was underage and this creepy man groped my ass. Like, no. Why would I tell a fan that? That's weird.
Guess all the fans you told in your video don't count.
Oh, Ash, we already know how dumb you think your fan base is.
Why should I showcase proof as if she's significant in my life? My audience won't care for such things.
I don't know, I'm kind of getting the impression that you seem to think that you can just say things without proof and your audience will believe you. Mind you, that's only speculation, but given what you did try to pass off in your video without proof,
Maybe that's why you claimed the sexual assault was fake without any proof. You thought people would just believe you.
I'll be happy to showcase proof for the purpose of entertainment.
Yeah, that's what publicly claiming that a victim lied about their assault is. Entertainment.
Well, to be fair, Ash didn't show any proof of that. So, in that case, what do we call it?
Bullshit.
So she's just lying, and I'm honestly appalled. Like, I knew she lied about the credit thing, but like I never really looked into the situation or her lies further because I'm traveling, I'm dealing with a lawsuit, I'm doing a lot. Like, I'm literally in Seattle right now. I'm fucking recording from a laptop, but I'm really appalled to hear that she would lie about me telling a sexual assault story. I'm sure she would probably lie and say, you know, she said she got raped and all this shit when that never happened. So that's appalling.
But she didn't lie about that.
You did tell a sexual assault story in your video. Like, you just got done explaining that you did have a sexual assault, but it wasn't quite the same.
Talking about that situation in a video still counts as you recalling the story of your sexual assault, which is what Slimmers was talking about. You shared your assault story in a video, and she, understanding the situation because of her own experiences, shared her story in return to connect with you.
Wow, I'm like still shocked. I'm like actually fucking shocked. But anyways, that's like the end of our messages. The last of it, as you can see here. Yeah, since you told people to come after me on my social media about crediting you, even though I literally agreed on giving you a verbal shout out, and then we discussed long-term crediting, blah, blah, blah. It's apparent you're still talking about me or telling people because now I'm getting recent comments about it. So bye. Thanks for making fan art. You seem nice at first. I blocked her. Right after I blocked her, I get like 6-7 notifications on my phone.
Yeah,
and
she also
like
told that
that's
in
when
her
I got
story.
really
She updated her story
annoyed.
saying you blocked her.
She spammed me. I didn't block her on Instagram. She blocked me on Instagram. But I only blocked her on Discord. She started spamming me on Instagram, and I got extremely annoyed because it's like, first of all, you just lied about me. I blocked you. Can you take the hint that I don't want to talk to you? And she was really getting on my nerves at that point, because when I saw my phone lit up with like 6 messages, 5 in a row, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you because you're a liar. And that's when I got a slight bit like hostile. Like, all I said was like, you're extremely unprofessional, because that's quite frankly the truth. But I wasn't like, fuck you bitch, or like anything like that. It was just like, oh my god, leave me alone. Like, so annoying. Like, don't talk to me. Like, leave me, block me. She finally blocked me because she couldn't take the hint from Discord. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Then she started fabricating a story, and I don't know, is it safe to say this is slander? Because it might be.
Sorry to say, but as the wise J. Jonah Jameson once said, slander is spoken defamation. In paper, it's libel. Since everything she said about you was in videos or on Instagram, if it was defamation, it would be libel. But it's not even defamation in the first place, so I don't even know why it matters.
Like me apparently saying I told a sexual assault story to her first, which never happened. I feel like this is slander. That's just me. Those are all the screenshots. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Snow baby. Oh, sorry.
Well, I think that's about it, but I mean, I can come up with more if you want to continue to talk. It's up to you.
I have another flight soon because I'm going to the other side of Washington for some like personal reasons, and I'm also gonna like eat dinner and go hang out with my friends. So knowing me, I'm gonna get really drunk. So I feel like it wouldn't be best for me to have an interview while I'm under like an influence.
Didn't you imply earlier that you were not sober during this interview and that's why you've been so giggly? So you acknowledge that doing an interview while under an influence is bad, while you're potentially doing an interview under an influence.
Yeah, you even said earlier, do I sound sober? And you even said I'm so fucked up right now.
Which makes us think that you're not sober. Brilliant!
But really quick, before I forget, I will search the fan fiber thing right now, because this was my commission, and yeah.
Okay.
You just search it in the chat. Aw, unfortunately, I think it was just discussed through the phone. I just searched it. Yeah, not in the text. Never mind about that.
So now we have it confirmed that your memory regarding what happened in text versus what happens in call is garbage. That coupled with your acknowledgement that your memory, in general, is quite bad. Now we have even less reason to trust you on your word on what exactly transpired between you and Slimmers in call.
Also the fact that she's high.
Your credibility is at -2 right now, at its highest.
Whee!
How fucking hard did I throw B?
That's all I can think about. I apologize for not being able to be interviewed later. I feel really bad about that, but
it's fine. It still happened. It's all right.
Yeah, this is as sober as you're gonna get me, and I'm usually a very sober person. Like, when I live in Florida, I don't do anything. I'm just, like, very chill. But...
When I live in Florida, despite literally saying that you never claimed that you lived in Florida.
Trust me, you can totally trust me.
I don't know, up here, I've been living the good life. Sorry, I feel really, like, I'm really giggly, I'm sorry. Fuck. But yeah, is that it? Should I say bye? Hello.
And that's where the video ends.
Oh, that was a bitch and a half. And we're not even done yet.
At least now, with that interview alone, Ash has effectively confirmed that her word isn't something that people can just take at face value. She contradicted herself multiple times, which, while yes, could be explained by her basically being high during this interview, that doesn't really excuse the fact that she's trying to use what's said in the interview to exonerate herself of the allegations.
Also, under what circumstances would you go to an interview high as a kite? It's like telling OJ to come to the courtroom high off his ass on cocaine. It's not going to help your case, and it's going to hurt you in the long run.
On top of that, her interviewer, Akumu, has effectively proven himself to be completely biased in favor of Ash's word and against Slamurs, questioning what Slamurs says in instances where things were not meant to be public, and claiming that anything Slamurs claimed happened in calls didn't happen, but believing Ash with just as little evidence when he should have just as little reason to do so.
There is a reason I personally think that, of all people, Ash had Akumu to conduct this interview. She could have known that he had a bias and such. It's possible that she would know that he would push.
Either that, or Akumu's the one who actively came to her, claiming that he would help, which would make sense, since in Akumu's video, he claimed he reached out to both Ash and Slamurs, also forgetting to mention that he'd been actively harassing Slamurs and calling her an idiot on Twitter, but details.
I know if someone was harassing me on Twitter, I wouldn't want to talk to them. Akuma has shown throughout this video, his interactions on Twitter, the comments he leaves on videos critical of Ash and him, and this interview, that he's an extremely biased party. He couldn't provide anything to the contrary. And when he made one singular good point, Ash disagreed with him.
Still feel bad for Akumu because of Ash destroying one of his main arguments against Slamurs. Funny as hell regardless, though. And if you think we're finished just yet, boy, have you seen the remaining time of this 4-parter? No, we've still got at least 3 more things to touch on.
This is Ponder's first 4-parter co-op. I'm flattered to be the partner.
You popped my 4-part co-op cherry, you sly dog.
And I'm honored. Now on to the next point.
Oh boy, time to talk about the onion again.
Ash has made claims regarding her filing the paperwork for the lawsuit against Onision 3 separate times that we can find. The first was her saying she was going to file the papers online after June 21st. In her video, I paid for Onision's Patreon.
The second was actually directly to Slamurs, and we were able to find this in their full Discord conversation, where Ash said, "I think my court date will be coming soon for Greg. If the papers had yet to be filed, then why would she be expecting a court date to come in?" And we know she hadn't filed the papers because of the third instance where she claimed she had done this.
Ash claims that she filed the papers while she was in Washington for the concert, but that she had her friend record her walking to the courthouse to do it. Ash has also made a false claim that you need to file the paperwork in person, which just isn't true. You can file the papers online, at which point you are given a confirmation number, and within 72 hours of being given that number, you have to go to the courthouse to pick up your packet.
Now, Ash has stated that she's a little impulsive, and an interview with her friend indicated that she ended up in Washington a little sooner than was planned. So if she had simply forgotten to file the papers online and then had to do it in person, that would be totally fine. The problem is that this alleged lawsuit still hasn't gone through, and we know this because we went over a variety of different possible names and aliases for Onision, and none of them have a lawsuit filed against them during any of the timeframes Ash has claimed to file for, nor do they currently have a lawsuit filed against them.
The most important one is the most recent claim, where she firmly says that there exists a recording of her walking into the courthouse and filing the papers, yet there's still no record of the case even existing.
Which basically means that the case was never filed like Ash claimed it was.
On top of that, we mentioned this earlier, but Ponder paid our friend Phagos to go into Ash's Patreon and see if she would offer up any updates to the lawsuit. Guess you didn't get any message back despite him being the highest paying tier. He was also having problems connecting to the Discord server, and it had been over half a month from when he sent his first message, asking for help getting into the Discord, not even anything to do with the lawsuit.
Phagos started messaging her in October and got nothing, which is even more of a problem considering the $10 Patreon tiers are access to my Minecraft realm, access to my private Discord server, and access to Storytime podcasts. At the time, the last post Ash put on her Patreon was August 20th, which was a post about the Minecraft realm asking people to reply with their Minecraft usernames to get into the realm. But if Ash already hadn't been providing links in the Discord server to her new patrons, which she hadn't, and hadn't been providing the new Storytime podcast, requests, which she hadn't, and hadn't been messaging her patrons back, which she definitely hadn't. Yeah, I'm basically trying to get across that I don't hold much hope for that particular request going through in a timely manner either.
Not to mention that the August 20th post was the last one she had posted on her new Patreon.
Yeah, one where she doesn't need to actually provide anything on the Patreon site itself. I mean, I guess that would at least make it easier for her to dish out content to those who pay for it, provided you just ignore the fact that we've already seen that she's bad at messaging her supporters back in the first place, which begs the question as to how she gets these accesses to them in any sort of acceptable time frame.
She also hasn't messaged me back, despite myself having been a contributor during the initial fundraising for the suit. Ash even said if someone helped her raise the money, even if they still weren't a Patreon supporter, they were entitled to updates.
So we had a current supporter on Patreon whom she wasn't updating. Well, current up until she abandoned that one, I guess. I'm not dishing out another $20 to find out, let alone $100 for that new top tier. And a past supporter from the fundraising effort who's not being updated. I'm sure you can see the glaring issue here. And it's not even like it's because she's busy with the suit and therefore hasn't had the time to update patrons. She's been incredibly active on Discord throughout this entire time we've been working on the script.
We know this because we had someone in her Discord server updating us on what she was doing.
And like, 2 months ago now, she released 4 videos within the same week. So she doesn't even get to use the excuse of, oh, I was just too busy.
Probably makes sense if she doesn't have any updates to give them anyway, but it is scamming either way when she is not providing what she is supposed to be providing.
And that might not be the only case of her scamming people, but it's probably not in the way that most people watching this video are assuming. I posit a bit of a theory, and yes, I am fully acknowledging that this is only a theory of mine, which is mostly based on past things that I've seen, so it could be totally wrong.
So Ash cannot sue her now if she is wrong, and it cannot be classified as libel. But Ash, she wouldn't threaten to sue Ponder anyways. She's not underage and she doesn't have a smaller following. In fact, Ponder has a bigger following.
See, everyone seems to think that Ash's original fundraising attempt was a scam, and that she used that money to go to a concert. We already know that the money couldn't have been used for the concert itself, because that was a gift, though that still begs the question as to how she managed to pay for her traveling to Washington. My theory is that the fundraising going through might not have ever actually even happened.
Gasp!
From what we were able to suss out, there doesn't seem to have been any public display of exactly how much money had been raised for the lawsuit. Ash just directed people to her Patreon, which is already suspicious given that's not what Patreon is for, and something like GoFundMe would have been more appropriate. Ash has also stated herself that most of the funds raised were donated by one person. We don't know who that person is. Frankly, we don't know if they exist. This is ultimately the basis for my theory. I theorize that it wasn't Ash's goal to raise money, but instead that it was her goal to raise Patreon supporters. This wouldn't be the first time I've seen a scam like this. The way it works is that someone makes a claim, usually a big one that gets a lot of people excited or riled up, and then asks for those people to support them through this endeavor on Patreon. People jump into their Patreon wanting to support this specific goal, but unbeknownst to them, the goal isn't actually a part of the Patreon rewards. Much like how, despite Ash claiming that patrons are entitled to updates, the Patreon reward tiers don't actually list updates on the lawsuit as being a part of their rewards. This means that even if Ash claims outside of Patreon that you would get updates, she doesn't actually have to give them to you. She states exactly what you get by pledging to her, and lawsuit updates are not one of them.
She'd probably run into additional problems given that she isn't updating her Patreons on things like that. Based on the tiers, they should be entitled to.
Even now, she's claiming that people are only entitled to updates on the lawsuit, which many people had originally come to her channel curious about, if they're a Patreon supporter of hers, further pushing people into becoming patrons. I don't think Ash's goal was ever to raise a specific amount of money. I think her goal was to raise supporters who would continue to support her as the months rolled on. This is perhaps further exemplified by the new Patreon, which has no mention of the Onision lawsuit and the locking of the old lawsuit-related videos behind the channel member wall. She is distancing herself from that old promise and locking out those who don't already support her. The fact that she claims that most of the money she needed was raised by one person just makes me even more suspicious about this possibility having been her intent. We don't know who this person was or even if they existed. For all we know, she might not have even raised the money, just claimed that she did.
So right now we have no proof if the Patreon made enough money, we have no proof that she even filed the court case, and now we have no proof that she was even fulfilling her Patreon tiers.
And we at least know that it's not actually stated on Patreon that anyone supporting her would get updates on the lawsuit. So effectively, it doesn't matter if you went to her Patreon to support her so that you can get those updates. What those patrons want isn't a part of any of the tiers they're paying for, and therefore Ash isn't legally obligated to update them on anything, old Patreon or new one.
And if you think that Ash could have changed her tune with all this scamming and taking advantage of minors stuff in the past year, well...
Hey, when you sell, can I get a discount? Because I'm such a good friend, Smiley.
Yes, I'll give you 20 pics and a video.
For $20? Hard eyes. Lol.
So, do you think she did it?
What, scammed a 16-year-old out of feet pics? Or tried to organize a mob to assault her ex?
When is it?
I'm expecting a twist, but everything's being played straight. It just seems so predictable.
You expect any everyday guy to go around selling feet pics?
I expect someone to learn from their actions in the span of a year.
Yeah, well, in a perfect world maybe. You could always hold out hope that this is the mythical 3000 IQ minor on a canceling spree out to get Ash. That would be a nice twist.
I'm not sure if I like these new no-resolution, real-life style flicks. Guess that takeover is just a real waste of money.
I'm gonna sneak over to that Dolly Gets Drama next door. You wanna come with?
If it means not having to hear the name Ash again, I'm all for it. Yeah, don't hold your breath on that one. So, from this four-parter, we know 4 things. If me and Punter are in the room together, we give off so much Dom energy that you can't cut through it. Okay, now for the real points. Firstly, we know that Ash is a liar through and through. We even caught her in many a lie, more than I'm honestly willing to count at this point.
Secondly, Ash has effectively turned to trying to discredit those who would speak against her at this point. She's overall doing this in broad terms, like her "the art community has a lying problem" video, effectively implying that all of the videos made by artists who were speaking out against her are lying. It's broad and vague, but that's generally what she's trying to imply. She's not going to prove that this is a thing. Why would she? She seems to think that she doesn't have to, and her audience would just believe her anyway, but she's still going to push it as though she's being unfairly attacked. And to be fair, Lumi did happen like 2 months later, and she effectively works into Ash's narrative like a missing puzzle piece.
Oh hell, I don't even want to begin with that mess.
At this point, there are very fair criticisms against her, and the fact that people don't automatically believe her claims that she's suing someone with no proof the lawsuit exists is probably a good thing. Wang was certainly right not to trust her with the money for that fundraiser. Frankly, I hope people continue on with that trend, or else, you know, get scammed, I guess.
Thirdly, she seems to be allergic to actually providing proof to back her own case up, using wordplay instead of seeking to discredit the people who do provide evidence, to try to cover her tracks. She is not actually providing anything to clear her name.
And finally, yeah, the lawsuit isn't happening. If Ash somehow magically comes forward within the next couple of months and showcases that the lawsuit is happening, all I'm saying is check the date she filed for the suit. It's not going to be in October. It's not going to be any time close to now. It's not going to be any time close to when she claims she filed the paperwork. Any of the time she claims she filed the paperwork.
I originally was on Ash's side. I was someone who donated to help see if I could help someone take down someone else who was falsely using copyright. But instead she tarnished her own name and made herself out to be someone who was almost as bad as Onision.
I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt during the Slimmers debacle where I could, but her own actions have only further pushed suspicion onto her, and her past actions showcase that this is not a recent behavior, but rather a pattern of issues that people simply hadn't noticed yet.
Honestly, I just wish I knew about Ash's true character sooner, so no one would fall into her ruse.
Well, some people did notice. OMGIJ noticed. Simply Dad noticed. But that was because they were close enough to her or had directly interacted with her to the point where they were able to see those issues up close. Repzion even interviewed an ex-friend of Ash who cited the girl's behavior as the main reason why they were no longer friends. I think it's pretty apparent that Ash's behavior is something that's easily hidden behind videos, but not as easily hidden through direct interactions.
We've been calling her Ash throughout this video because at this point she's trying to rebrand herself and distance herself from the Madam label everyone associates with the drama surrounding her.
Which is exactly why we called her Princess Ash here and not Madame. Whee!
Alright, that's enough of you, Hydron Collider. She even membership locked all of her Onision videos. I was lucky I downloaded them all the night before they were gone, though. I also couldn't call her Princess. It would feel too dirty to me.
I don't know, kinda makes sense to me. She definitely encompasses the spoiled brat mentality I associate with some princesses.
It definitely seems like Ash is trying to move away from this and ignore what she did, which is probably why she removed Mokafu's art from her profile, despite claiming that the art belonged to her.
Too bad she was originally still using it for a Patreon tier at the time.
Man, Ponder, I feel bad. You were supposed to be on vacation by now. The video was so long it cut into that time.
Well, you could always make it up to me.
Anytime.
Hope you all enjoyed this 4-part into a person lying through their teeth so much that they can't even keep what they're claiming straight.
I can't wait to see you all in the darkness once again. But before we go, it's time for a small token of gratitude for y'all watching this far. It's time to give it everything we've got. It's punishment time! Hello everyone, and thank you for watching this 4-parter. For me, this project has been amazing. I was so honored to work with Ponder and everyone else. We've been working on it since early October of 2019, on and off, of course, and I'm glad we finally got it done, because these videos are made in advance from their release. Of the first video, I do not have a fan art feature. Maybe in my future videos I'll have some. I just want to say thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Go check out Ponder if you hadn't, and until next time.
Enjoy the darkness.
Go!